beautiful people of Earth. Welcome to a whole new, brand new episode of FREAKQUELS. I'm your host, EJ Leeson, and with me today is my co-host, my little potato chip, Rory Colorasi. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing so great.
Are you?
I'm doing so well.
What makes you so well?
Because, I don't know, man. Bustin makes me... Bustin makes me feel good.
Acceptable answer.
That's an acceptable answer. And then, of course, the keeper of the pod, the one that makes us run so he could crawl. Young Vince, how you doing?
I'm doing good, dude. That's great.
Yeah.
Cheer me up. Good. All right.
Good.
Thank you. I'm doing good. How you doing, EJ?
You know what? I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
I'm very excited because he's back at it.
You're back at it.
No. I'm not. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about somebody else that we got.
Oh, I know. And last, but certainly not least,
Back for revenge.
we have a very special guest, no stranger to the show, and everyone's feedback about you from our Silent Night, Deadly Night episode all agreed, great podcaster. Ghostbusters superfan, the man, the myth, the legend, Matthew Renaldi. How you doing, sir?
EJ, you really have to stop hyping me up because because I think somebody is going to be intrigued and they're going, oh, Matt Renaldi, that guy sounds really cool. I'm going to look him up. And they're going to look me up and they're going to be really disappointed. So,
In your criminal background or that?
Dude,
Dude, don't worry. All the feedback wasn't good. I got a whole slew of reviews over here to just rip you apart. Some stuff I won't even read on the air because, God forbid, we get pulled.
Right.
No,
You know, Bob
can't have
Iger's
that.
listening.
Of course. Yeah.
I can't have you two losing all this money.
I know, all this sweet, sweet cash.
Now, is there any new movies or anything that you saw? I saw Willy Wonka, kind of a...
Okay.
Yeah.
I got around to finally seeing the new Hunger Games movie.
Yeah.
It was, I had no interest in seeing it. It was literally a let's just get this over with watch.
Yeah.
And I found the lead actor in it. What's his name?
Tom Blythe?
Yeah. He has a huge career ahead of him, that guy.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
a very interesting performance. Let's
Yes.
not stay on that. Let's not talk about the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
The news is doing that for us.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Setting that box office on fire, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. How about you, Matt? Any new movies?
no, I haven't seen anything.
No?
No.
Nothing?
No, nothing. I don't think so. I can't remember. No. Wait, did I? No, I really don't.
I can't answer
remember.
that for you.
I know. I can't remember.
I didn't see any new movies, but I did the same thing I always do. I rewatched a movie that I already like. I watched did you ever see Run Fat Boy Run?
Yeah, with Simon
Pegg.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was just
Good
flipping
movie.
through. I found it. I was like, oh, I'll watch that.
Someone directed that too. Was it Michael Ian Black from Stella?
Yes, I believe so.
In the State?
Yeah.
I think so, right?
Yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
flick.
That's a great movie.
Hey,
yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but this is the end, sadly, of our
Of the
holiday
Christmas?
episodes, of our Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
It's a very special New Year's Eve extravaganza.
Yes, it is. And what better place to go to than New York City for New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
And this movie, baby,
Not-
it's all set in New York City.
And not exactly what you think of as a New Year's Eve movie until you
No.
hear us jerks talk about how it's very much a New Year's Eve movie.
Yeah. And it's a little confusing timeline-wise, right? Because a lot of stuff happens.
Yeah.
The way the movie opened up with 5 years earlier confused the shit out of me, and I've seen this movie a lot of times, and I was like, I don't even remember that.
Vince,
Yeah.
let me correct you because I am the super fan.
Okay.
It's
Actually.
Yeah, exactly. That's 5 years. 5 years later.
5 years later. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Vince, actually, the title card read
know
5
what?
years later.
Do it if you just pushed your glasses up when you did it.
Don't
I
worry,
wish-
everybody.
next
We're-
time.
Missed opportunity.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
everybody at home. He's getting a wedgie before we leave. A classic wedgie.
Let's dive into our New Year's special movie, Ghostbusters 2,
Yeah.
brought to you by Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown, don't sue us.
So, so anyways, we will start this movie, and then at the end of the show, we're actually going to read some emails that we got from everybody. We have at least a few that we're going to read
Yeah.
over at the end of the show.
And some of them, for legal reasons, we won't read.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll just leave the
Yeah.
names out.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah.
Well, no,
Safer.
some of them are just,
It's downright
incriminating. But
Oh,
we're not
okay,
going to
fair
talk about that.
Yeah,
We're
well-
here to talk about Ghostbusters too.
Let's-
Not our legal troubles.
Yeah.
Not the fact that Uncle Sam is breathing down our back.
Right. So we have where Ghostbusters 2 starts off 5 years later, Vince.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And
Starting off with a bang. Good.
And we see this pink slime that's like seeping out of the ground, and a stroller rolls over it, and it's revealed that it's Dana Barrett, hero from the first Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
And
The great Sigourney Weaver.
yeah. And so she stops briefly to chat with her superintendent, or what is
Super
it?
Nintendo Chalmers.
Yeah, so she stops to talk to him and
The maintenance man of the building.
the maintenance
Yeah.
man, yeah. And she's
New
like,
York stereotype.
Yes.
what is going on with this neighborhood? First off, like all this stuff is happening in one. She's like walking down the street, and there's like 18 different things going on. One guy's yelling about a parking ticket. Another like a couple is like making out or something, and then it's like just like a lot going on. Like people are fighting, and it's nuts.
It's New York, the city that never sleeps.
Yeah,
Is that their slogan?
and the maintenance
One
man
of them.
is like, hey, you go fix this thing to another maintenance man.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got other things to do. Like
His
Yeah.
response was,
chit-chat.
I'm on break.
I'm on break. You go fix this. Hey, Dana Barrett, not my problem. So, as she's talking with him, the stroller slips away on its own.
Well, of her baby Oscar.
Of her baby Oscar's
So-
inside of it.
So I depressed myself last night watching the movie because I started doing the math on how old Oscar would be today. Maybe in just about approaching his mid-30s.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, when this came out was 89.
89.
And I remember seeing this.
Year of
over
our
and
Lord.
over. Yeah.
Year of our Lord.
1989.
Yeah. That's crazy.
1,900.
Vince, did you have it? Sorry to interrupt.
No, no.
I'm not sorry.
Good.
You had a theater experience.
So my father was a projectionist, and this was one of the ones that I remember that I went to the like it was a summer movie. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
Regardless,
Summer of '89, great.
I
summer
remember
movies.
spending an entire Saturday
Last
watching this
Crusade.
movie over and over and over
Back
again.
to
And this,
Picture
Yeah.
2.
yeah,
This is the one I watched as a kid the most.
Me too.
Yeah.
As far as the Ghostbusters.
Did you guys
movies.
have the coloring books? I did.
I had a lot of
I
the
did,
toys
and
and
it
stuff
came.
too.
Yeah, and it came with stickers. I remember my mom used to work. Oh, what's the name of it? Was it McCory's?
McCrory's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she used to work.
McCrory's, I believe.
Yeah, and then she worked there. And I'm sorry, I'm pausing because I'm thinking, wait, didn't it also become a Chinese buffet later?
they all become a Chinese
yeah,
buffet at some
basically.
point.
Matt, don't worry. No one's fact checking you.
Good.
You're good.
Anyway, the point is that my mom worked there, and she used to bring me a bunch of those coloring books.
Yeah.
And my
Oh, that's
brother.
awesome.
You know what's weird?
Yeah.
Like I used to color in those coloring books all the time, and then someone looked at it, and somehow I had to go to therapy because apparently what I was drawing over the images. But EJ, we're not going to stay on this. Tell us what happens next in the movie.
No, we have to stay on this. Talk
Oh,
about
there's
this.
no time to talk about this. We don't need to know about the time I had to spend away from my family, shipped away somewhere. Things may or may not have occurred as a result of those drawings. I can't keep track of my own life.
This all tracks so well.
Yeah, man.
It's starting to come
Yeah.
together for me
No,
now.
Yeah. This is painting a picture.
Yeah.
man.
As I said, man, let's just
Or
move on. We don't have to
it's
talk
coloring
about
a coloring book for us.
That
yeah.
could be it too.
Just saying, man. Everybody's real excited to hear about this Ghostbuster plot, not my criminal background.
Oh, well, I don't know. I kind of was interested in the criminal background.
You know Ernie Hudson's in this movie? Let's
I
move
did.
on.
Oh, yeah. No. So, okay. So we have where the stroller takes off and it's like just going down the street. No one bothers to stop it.
But
And
they honk their horn at it.
they're like, get out of the way, you stupid stroller.
Like, it's going to make the stroller do something else?
I did
The
find it
baby
weird.
driving this thing is going to veer to the left?
I did find it weird that you saw like a hand come up out of the stroller. It's like, I'm rolling here.
The baby hand.
I did find that weird.
Why is it? Don't put the best thing best joke up front. It's all
I'm sorry,
downhill,
I'm sorry.
everybody
All
at
right,
home.
I'll stop. So it rolls down. No one's stopping it, and then all of a sudden, a bus is about to hit the stroller, and that's when it finally stops. Dana catches up, and cue Ray Parker Jr.'s music and Ghostbusters 2. And then we cut over to the next scene starts with the Ecto 1 racing. And I remember like just thinking, oh, it's probably racing to Dana Barrett to like see what the situation is. So we see it racing through New York City, and it arrives at this apartment, and the lady from Lethal Weapon opens the door.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to throw that in.
No.
I love Lethal Weapon.
That's another one I love too.
Yeah. And so she answers, and they're like, okay, what's the situation? She's like, well, there's about 14 of them. And
how big are they?
Yeah, how big are they? And they're like, what
about 4 feet tall.
Yeah, 4 feet tall. And so they go in, and it's a birthday party for kids. And this one little kid goes like, my dad thinks you're a joke, and you guys are like a bunch of losers.
Full of
basically.
crap.
They're full of crap.
Yeah, they're full of crap.
My dad says you're full of crap.
Yeah. And
but I watch that kid might direct you someday.
yeah, you never know, man. That kid had something. And so
Nepotism, but go on.
yeah, nepotism for sure. No, but
Hey, don't bash nepotism. Not here.
No, I'm okay. Jason Reitman's a great director.
Yeah.
I love him as a
Oh, yeah.
filmmaker.
I loved Up in the Air.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a legit great movie.
Yep.
You're wearing a Juno shirt right now, aren't you? Oh no, actually, it's an NSYNC shirt, and that's for real.
Yeah,
It's
that's
an insane.
real.
It's the Christmas album.
It's the
The Christmas
Not just
album,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's my Christmas wear for
Yeah,
the
man, that's your
episode.
excuse. Let's move on.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with a random Tuesday.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing like to do with that at all. So
I watched you like plan that out in your head too. You're like, it's a Christmas episode. Yeah, that's
yeah, that works. So we find out that it's a little kid's birthday party, and they get up there, and all the kids are like, He-Man, and so they get up, they hit the radio, and again, Ray Parker's tune, Ghostbusters, come on.
now
and they start
diegetic
dancing.
and non-diegetic.
Yeah, and so they start dancing to it, and it's like, who you gonna call? And everyone's like, He-Man. I'm like, was He-Man?
He-Man
even-
and the He-Man chant. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember annoying the shit out of my father doing that because me and my brother would start the Ghostbusters song and then just chant He-Man afterwards, and it would drive him crazy. So
Yeah, that would-
He-Man was it was I wouldn't say peak He-Man, but it was like maybe on the tail
It
end.
was on the downward.
It was on the
slope at
downward
that point,
slope.
wasn't
of
Yeah, it
He-Man.
was.
But
Kind of like
yeah, it was-
like a dated reference even then. Not really
Yeah.
dated, but whatever.
Yeah, it was
Hard edit for me.
No.
I said something stupid. I'm taking it right out. You can't stop me, motherfuckers.
I think by 1990, He-Man wasn't even like a thing anymore.
and,
Like,
and I'm
on
sorry
the
to
air or
derail just
anything.
because we're mentioning it. The He-Man movie,
Awesome,
Masters of the Universe.
That,
love it.
that was my first theater experience.
Was it really? That's
my,
awesome.
My grandfather took me in '87, and man,
Courtney Cox's first movie.
I know.
Was it Dolph Lundgren?
Yes.
it was Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. Go back to it. But yeah,
No.
He-Man. He-Man was, I think, on the downward, but yeah, it was still very popular.
Frank
Maybe
Langella
that's
has
the joke is that even with it being
Even
like
while-
going
yeah,
down
yeah,
the hill,
okay.
they still
they're
prefer.
still,
Even though they're not as
He-Man
popular.
over the Ghostbusters.
Like that's how irrelevant they've become.
Yeah. And so we see, they're actually subjected to this humiliation, right? Like, and they kind of had like a little bit of a downfall even after they saved the city. They got sued by a bunch of different
Counties and
and stuff. And so
municipalities and all the bureaucracy.
yeah.
I love how they're there for 3 minutes, and they're like, you know what? Let's go get sauced.
Let's go get
Yeah,
a beer.
let's
Let's go grab a beer.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to hear a fun fact? I guess like Ernie Hudson will actually do birthday parties even if you don't ask him to.
Aw, I love him.
He'll show up in the suit.
He's such a bad
I love
cop in
him.
the crowd.
I saw that. I saw him in the movie last night. I'm like, I'm gonna make that joke, and I felt horrible, but I still
You
read it
had
because
to-
I'm not a good enough person to make the right call.
No, to be fair, you had to make that joke.
I had to.
You had to.
Yeah.
But for the record, I've met Ernie Hudson. We all met
Yeah.
Ernie Hudson, I think,
Yeah.
and he's wonderful. He's the nicest person. I got
So
to talk
nice.
to him about the movie The Crow because I didn't
Yeah.
want to talk to him about something that he's
Ghostbusters.
probably been talking about over and over and over again. But then I think
Yeah.
I depressed him because The Crow probably wasn't really a good experience.
Hey,
I
hey,
know.
you remember that movie set experience where one of the actors died?
You know, like
Let's talk about
I
that.
feel sad watching the movie. I can't imagine how you felt. But we're not going to talk about
Because
that.
he
stuff.
literally shared all of his scenes
know.
with Brandon Lee. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah. So
Brandon Lee because I love him and it makes me sad to think about things. But anyway,
So, I do love the
Hard-headed.
line that Ray says, and it's like, Ray goes, these little ungrateful little yuppie larvae.
Yeah.
I love that line. I was
Yeah.
like, that's so good.
there's a lot of good ones like that in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dana goes to visit Egon at his lab, and she's filling him in on what happened, and he says he's going to bring Ray in on it, on this case, and she then asks about Peter Venkman, and gets kind of filled in on what happened with her, like, the last few years. And I really love this scene because Egon kind of, like, he doesn't have a lot of lines.
So deadpan,
but he's
so
so,
dry, yeah.
good.
His like experiment with the couple waiting to go in to do therapy is so fun. He's like, I'm gradually raising the heat. And it's like, now my assistant's going in and asking if they wouldn't
Mind waiting
mind
another hour,
waiting another
30 minutes.
30
yeah.
minutes, yeah.
It's up to 95 degrees now.
like I don't exactly know what the point of that experiment
I
was.
rewatched it last night here with your sister,
Uh-huh.
and I laughed out loud when he said, "Let's bring in the puppy."
Oh
Yeah.
wait, hold up,
So-
hold up. I have a fact for you.
Okay, hit me.
I have a fact for you. You're gonna appreciate this. The little girl holding the puppy.
Yes.
That's Maureen Ponderosa.
Are you kidding me?
That's Catherine Reitman.
That is fantastic.
I had no idea
Oh
either.
my
They
God.
just told me, and I was like, "What?"
I
had
saw
no
that
idea.
last night. Like because I've known that for a while.
Yeah.
But I was like watching it last night. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to tell.
How
Vince.
I was going to say, how excited were you to tell me that?
Tell you that. Yeah.
that's
I was like
awesome.
white knuckling. That's why I rushed.
Now I
to
can't
that
wait to go
part.
back and yeah, I can't wait to go back.
Let's
and
see
look
what
at
happens when we take away the puppy.
Yeah.
So now that we're here, written by Harold Ramis
And Dan Aykroyd.
and Dan Aykroyd, the lines in this thing, just front to back, it's just unbelievable. Like
the first
just,
two, the
It's
two
just as
movies are
quotable.
quotable as
yes,
hell.
and like you're saying, Harold Ramis wrote this, and the fact that he wrote himself so deadpan
Yeah.
is just like he could have given himself so many funnier lines, but he seems like a very giving writer.
Well, you know what it is?
Yeah.
I think he was intelligent enough to
Enough
know
to
that
know.
these kids were going to watch this movie, grow up, rewatch it, and realize he had all the best lines.
yeah, later on.
Get the
Maybe,
force.
Later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his delivery in that scene, it's perfect because, Dana has her back to him and she asks, like, oh, has Venkman mentioned me? And, like, there was a pause there and he scans her with the aura sensor.
no.
And then, no. And
Just
And he,
to
like-
see her get upset.
Just to see, like, a reading. And, like, his face, he's, like, studying her body language. And it's so good. It's so good. I love that scene, though. And
the comedic timing
is
just
incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah. And, so then we cut over to Peter Venkman, who is now hosting a TV show about psychics.
Roll to the side.
Yeah. And these psychics are like about to predict like the end of the world, right? And so the one guy, he's pretty spot on. He's like, I believe it's gonna be New Year's Eve. He's like, wow,
Cutting it a little close.
well, yeah, cutting it close. Don't you have a book deal? By the time it hits like paperback,
You're
and
not
stuff.
going to get paperbacks for at least a year. Don't you want to push this end of the world thing out just a little bit?
Yeah.
It's a little too. Yeah, I love.
And then he cuts over to the lady, and he's like, "How about you?" And she's like, "February 14th, 2016."
Valentine's Day.
He's like, "Bummer." I love that line.
Great quote. And
If
Yeah.
you watch him in that scene, like there's just periodically he like looks into the camera and it's contempt.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
I almost felt like that was a Saturday Night Live skit
Kinda.
that they
Yeah.
just literally dropped into this movie because it was so friggin' funny.
Yes.
But yeah, that was oh god.
like it's just like it's like talking about the alien how like bought her a drink at a room in the Holiday Inn.
I was like,
Yeah.
you got,
Or at
you
least
got
it could have
roofied.
been I was on a spaceship in a room designed to look like a Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she got roofied, right? He bought her a drink.
If you read
And then
between the
yeah,
lines of
okay.
what's going on there, it's actually quite sad.
And she's the same actress that played Nancy, right? In Sid and Nancy. Or no?
And who was the guy? He's in everything too.
Yeah, he.
Oh, that's Bill Murray.
No.
Yeah, that's Bill Murray.
I thought I recognized him.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
yeah.
the other psychics in a bunch of movies too. Yeah, this thing is like
Yeah.
star-studded. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's insane. And so yeah, that after the show, he's like talking with his agent or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, where do you find these guys?" And that's when he runs into the mayor. He's like, "Hey, mayor," and then Niedermeyer, who's like the new assistant to the mayor, stops him, and he's like, "You stay away from the mayor, you and your phony friends and stuff."
Why are you here? I don't see any ghosts.
Yeah, and so Niedermeyer tells him to stay away. He's like, "Aren't you concerned that I'm like a voter?"
Aren't you supposed to kiss my butt?
Aren't you supposed to lie to me?
Yeah. So then we cut over to the Met, and this is where Dana works now. And we are introduced to Dana's boss, Dr. Jonas Poha, right? Is that how you say his name? I think, right?
I don't know, the guy from Ally McBeal.
Yes.
Yeah, Ally McBeal guy.
Remember that show?
There we go. Yeah, let's just refer to him that way.
I'm older than Oscar, so that reference, you can kind of put it together.
You know what's crazy is that you're older than Oscar, but not by much.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
not
crazy.
really. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's kind of
I'm
crazy.
gonna reveal something to you guys on Freakquels and Freakquel Nation.
You're 65.
I'm Oscar.
Oscar. It makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, because you often walk out on the ledge of your apartment building.
I still wear
You still
the
have
yellow
those.
onesie.
You still have the Winnie the Pooh onesie. Yeah.
I'm wearing it right now. It's
Yeah.
funny, all you listening at home, you can't fucking tell if I'm telling the truth or not.
And he is wearing his yellow onesie right
And it's
now.
still really soft. How did you do that?
Very clean, too.
Nice. I like it.
He kind of outgrew it, though. His arms are popping through the store.
It's really just covering nothing.
Yeah.
At this point.
You literally Winnie the Poohing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting outfit, to
So
say the
so
least.
so Matt Renaldi, as a guest, you've been eclipsed. Moving on, guys. Oscar would like to move on.
Oscar would like to move on. So this is when we meet Dana's new boss and her new job. She's not doing the orchestra anymore. She's actually doing restoration on certain paintings and stuff. And but she does plan on going back to the orchestra, and she tells Janusz this. And Janusz, like, he goes hard, but Dana is like not interested. I always love this about Dana. Like, everybody is just like
In love with her.
yeah, and she's always like so nicely rejecting everybody.
She's very polite.
She is like
When she doesn't need to be either.
Yeah.
right.
No.
I love when Janusz is like walking towards her and there's like a person drawing or painting. He's like, everything you're doing is bad.
Everything you're doing is bad.
One of the things I want to point out about him is he is a great hands actor. Do you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what I mean by
Yeah.
that? His use of hands just makes everything he does just funnier, or gives you a little creepy vibe. It
Yeah.
just makes it enhances it.
And he was really fun to
outstanding.
work with too on set.
Was he?
Yeah.
From what I remember.
He shook me as a baby.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
And so then we see where, as she's leaving, we see the haunting portrait of Vigo, and he kind of pulls this like Nightmare on Elm Street 1 kind of thing, where he like pops his head through the portrait and like is looking at her, and then she like looks back and it like goes back really quick.
Awesome.
Now's where I would like to say that this movie holds up as far as CG.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some of it's corny, some of it's, but it still holds
It's not even
up.
like
It's still-
CG. It's
No,
just kind of.
and it, like in the courtroom scene, which we'll get to, like the practical with CG was awesome.
If anything, I think it's just
Unbelievable.
like it's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very charming.
Yeah.
It really is. And yeah, and I actually was really impressed by that scene. It looks really clean. The
Yeah.
seat, like his head popping out and like kind of like looking. It looked really good.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So over at Ray's shop called Ray's Occult Books, Ray is working and Egon is kind of running some theories and certain findings that he found that are similar to Dana's case about the whole stroller situation. And as they chat and drop some like solutions, in walks Vinkman, who asks what they're working on. And at first, Egon gives like the little subtle look to Ray, like, don't tell him who it is, And Ray's like, well, it could be anybody that we're helping, And then we see where, Peter kind of like does that weird ear thing to him.
When I was a kid, I
Yeah.
thought he ripped his ears open.
Same.
Really?
Same.
You
Yes,
thought that too?
I did.
I was horrified by it.
Yes.
I was just like, why is he hanging out with him?
Yeah, what friend does that?
I know. I don't do that to you anymore.
Someone who wants information about their ex-lover. That's who does that.
Yeah. And finally, Ray spills the beans. He's like, okay, it's Dana Barrett, and
Dana Barrett.
But to be fair, Egon really didn't help at all in that situation. He
Egon
could have been
just
like, "Hey, listen,
watched.
it's classified. This is a business thing.
He's
I'm
an,
not allowed to
he's
tell
an
you."
observer.
No, I think
Yeah.
he wanted to see Ray get
he
hurt.
never broke, though.
No, he
Egon
didn't.
Never
You know what would
broke.
have been
No, he
perfect is if he got out that little meter thing again. And that would have been really funny.
That is good. Yeah, that would have been good.
You're welcome, guys.
So, yeah, at Dana's, Ray, Egon, and Peter come to visit to check on her baby, pretty much to run some tests and examine Oscar to see if anything particular with him is going on. And they determine Egon had no toys as a kid except
Yes,
a slinky. And then
not
he
a-
straight it.
but not a full slinky.
Only a part of
a
a
part
slinky.
of a slinky.
I had
Yeah.
And I
a part of
straightened
a slinky once, and then I straightened it.
Then I straightened
But,
it.
like, I don't know. That might be the greatest line ever written in a movie.
Yeah,
I think so.
I love that because it's like it sounds like
Heart.
such a sad childhood, and the one thing that was his toy, he actually destroys anyways. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, like, you would think, "Oh, that's a sad childhood." No, he probably loved it.
yeah.
It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
look at all
No,
the
that
shit
was
I can
And then I
experiment with. Yeah.
straightened it. It's
yeah.
so good.
And then I straightened it.
There's another funny line from Egon in this scene. When he's doing the test, Dana says something like, "That's not going to hurt him," and Egon goes, "No, I don't think so."
yeah.
Just subtly.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. yeah.
I never heard anyone
so-
talk about that line, but I was watching it last night. And it kind of hit me.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
It
It's like,
is
that's not
so
going to
good.
hurt him, is it? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. And so we see where they are doing these tests, and finally they're like, okay, everything's looking pretty normal in the apartment and with Oscar, let's go check out the street. And so they make their way over to where the stroller was kind of first possessed and where it stopped, I think, right?
Yeah.
It was like right
Yeah, they
where
made
the
their
bus
way to
stop
where it
was.
stopped. Yeah.
Yeah. So they start to dig up like the sidewalk, and they're dressed as like construction workers, and these cops come, and they're kind of like, "Hey, you got a permit for this?" And then
Egon freezes. He doesn't even know what to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then that's when Bill Murray shows up. Well, Peter Venkman and Ray show up, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, what do you think we're doing here? You're causing up a like we're doing what we can." And then Egon is
What did I tell you? How many times?
how many times? And so
You know what's funny about that scene? They're disguising their voice and they have no reason to.
yeah, it's so good,
The cops don't know them.
right? It's like- And then he even
They use
uses
each
their
other-
names
they
too.
use their real names too.
He's
yeah.
like, "Hey, Ray, Egon, what are you thinking here?" And it's just like,
Doesn't
oh.
Egon at one
Not
point?
Egon, Ziggy.
Ziggy, yeah.
Doesn't he go, yo.
Yo, yeah, that's so good. So they're digging up the sidewalk. Meanwhile, at the museum, Janusz encounters the ghost of Vigo, who is inhabiting this portrait, and he begins to possess him, and kind of convinces him. He's like, "I need you to capture a child, and I am going to use that child as a new vessel."
Yeah.
And Janusz is like, "Okay."
so that I might live again.
Yeah. Janusz has no problem. He agrees right away.
Well, I think it's because there was a painting talking to him.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, whatever, just don't hurt me.
He immediately calls it master. He's like, "Yes, master." And I'm like,
It's very
wow.
subservient,
He's
that
like,
guy.
yeah.
very
No-
susceptible. Yeah.
Yeah. So then the Ghostbusters send Ray down the hole, and he discovers this river of slime, and it's just like this pink slime that's kind of flowing. It looks like the Blob remake, like
does.
the slime.
There's a
It
Blob
looks so
reference
good.
in this.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? We'll get to that.
Yeah. And so meanwhile, up above, cops come to stop them again, and they actually have like some kind of like city planner there with them. And I love how this plays out, because like Bill Murray's like, yeah, we're looking up the phone lines, and he's like, the phone lines are over there.
I mean the water lines.
Yeah. He's like, I told you, and he keeps hitting Egon
over there.
And he goes through all the utilities, and then he's finally like, it's gas. Look at the steam.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. How many times?
Yeah. How many times? And so
There's the humor in that scene is perfect. Like it's on
good.
point.
Yeah.
The timing and everything.
It's outstanding.
That pause that Peter does right before he's like, it's over there. What did I tell you?
How many times? So good. And then
He just like rides that into the ground.
yeah.
Like they know they're busted, and he's still just trying to
trying
scam
to get
his way
out.
through.
Yeah.
Which is really in character with Peter.
Oh, absolutely.
Peter's kind of like a con artist. Or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, 100%.
You're more like a game show host.
Yeah. I love that, by the way. So as they're, having this discussion, they end up pulling Ray up, and as they're pulling Ray up, he accidentally knocks out a very faulty power grid.
Yeah, the fact that he
like a
did that
pipe.
he did that so easily. It's like, can you really blame him?
Right. It's like
It's like falling apart.
yeah, it's like it was probably bound to happen, and
One line
yeah,
cuts the whole city out.
it's just one line, and I'm like, that's a really
whole
and
grid,
it like
yeah.
blackout.
A whole grid of the city, yeah.
Yeah. So at Dana's, Janusz stops by to check on Dana and the baby, and she kind of like, because it's like the blackout happens, and Janusz is like, I could help you with the baby.
I was
right?
in the neighborhood.
Right, I was in the neighborhood, and she's like, no, I'm okay. Like, thank you though.
I love that he was possessed by a 16th century Moldavian tyrant.
Yeah.
And he still can't break through, her exterior. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's got the walls up. He still can't break through. He's still awkward.
Yeah.
He still can't do it.
He
He's
broke through death. He can't break through her hard shell. I love when she's kind of signaling that the baby's sleeping. He's like, oh, but I woo.
And as she not slams the door in his face, but closes the door, we see Janusz. He like turns his head and his eyes like light up.
Love that visual.
It looks so good.
That red room, red hallway, that lighting for me.
The
lighting is
I was
brilliant,
gonna
man.
bring that
He
up.
turns
that
and
last
it's just
night.
just
Yeah.
He's
saturated.
all in like that
Yeah.
hard red.
It's almost
Even though
silhouette.
the power's
yeah.
out in the city, but he's in the hard red.
Yeah.
the
It's
light.
supposed to be
Yeah.
emergency lights,
gotcha.
but yeah, that
That lighting
friggin'
choice
awesome.
was great because it really even as a kid it kind of hints to us like in a subliminal way, oh, he's not good, you know what I mean, like because she has like perfect lighting,
It's
like your
it's
normal
like the light of
traditional
the candles.
yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
then when it goes to him, it's a very like heavy red, and it's so cool looking. And then the effect when he's walking away and his eyes like have that glow, and then he like kind of looks at the wall to give us like, oh, like the his eyes, like that's how he's seeing in the dark and stuff. And I don't know if they use like flashlights. Do you know how they did that practical effect?
Yes, they actually taped.
No, did
Oh my god.
I was like, how did they do that?
No, this is gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Just stand
We're
still.
actually we're gonna replace your eyes with flashlights. Hope you don't mind.
He's like, I'm a method actor.
Wait, no, I didn't sign up for this. No, it was in your contract. You signed the contract. It's happening.
That's actually where they got that Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, it's actually him when they
him
just putting
screaming.
flashlights. They're like literally. He's like, no, guys.
We're gonna dock your pay if you scream.
Right. So, at the courthouse, we see the Ghostbusters are on trial for the stunt they pulled by digging up the street and causing a blackout. And Lewis shows up to defend them in court, which is, I love this scene. Like, Lewis, Rick Moranis, just, oh my God, like, this character.
He plays it so well.
Well.
One time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you, Your Honor.
Wait, and then what does he say to him?
He's
Thank
like,
you. That was short.
Straight. Yeah. It was. Thank you. That was short and straightly pointless.
Yeah, it's just like
It was short and pointless.
Short and pointless. So yeah, Lewis stands up to defend them, and meanwhile, Niedermeyer's there, and he tells the prosecution to lay heavy into the guys and put them away for good. And it's not looking so good for the guys, and they're actually found guilty of all charges. And there's so many funny things going on in the scene.
How Winston shows up for like a second and just walks away.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not guilty. I'm just like, I'm out of here, guys. Well, good luck. It's like, why is he here? Like, he just stopped by.
That'll learn how to put me on the poster of the first movie.
Yeah. And so he like shows up for a second. He leaves. They have all these books all over their desk, and I'm like, I guess I don't know. And then
Wait, what?
like on their during the trial, there's all these like books all over the
Books
place.
and paperwork.
Yeah,
I guess
There's no
it's
way
like,
that.
I guess it's like on the it's like evidence, right?
It's evidence, but like, there's no way. There's no need for all of those books. Like,
Right.
his character is never going to need any of that
like
stuff.
where they're
It's just
sitting,
there.
like the defense.
Uh-huh.
Like normally, they'll have notebooks
Oh, I got
and
what you're
stuff.
saying.
yeah.
Okay. I
It's
thought you meant like
literally,
on the table.
No, it's literally on their desk where they would sit at the defense. And normally, they have like notepads and stuff, but it's
Maybe a
literally
glass of water, but it's just covered.
just like with books everywhere,
Books and
it-
paper. And
I would like to imagine it's like Lewis like trying to study up on law as he's like trying to defend them.
There's that, and I think he just brought books.
Yeah. You
Like
Not
maybe,
even law
like
books.
maybe they would like ask him a question and he would just grab a book and hope that he lands on the right answer.
And they're like, that actually was pointless and a total waste of our time. He's like, thank you, Your Honor. He's expect
What
us.
does he say, Matt? When he's like, come on, we're both lawyers.
Come on, both lawyers.
Like the other lawyer's giving him a hard time.
Yeah. And I do like you said, the part where Peter is on the stand and
yeah.
he's kind of leading the whole process.
Favorite part of that.
He's
Yeah.
whispering to him what to say.
He's like,
That's so funny.
yeah, it's so good. So yeah, they are found guilty of all charges as the judge is yelling their sentence at them, like a normal judge would do.
He was sick and tired.
Steak.
Yeah, one of the bottles, or I guess I would say like a bottle,
A beaker of ooze?
beaker. Yeah, a beaker of ooze.
Is it a beaker? I forget if it's a flask or a beaker. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Is just like the slime,
She's
and it
touching-
starts to like react to his yelling, and so it's getting bigger and bigger, and
Feeds on your negative emotions.
yes, and eventually two ghosts appear. It's the Scolari brothers.
Scolari brothers.
Scolari brothers, yeah.
Larry Brothers, water from outer, give him the chair.
I love when he's like screaming, his mouth's kind of like drooping down to the one side. It's like a cartoon.
Oh my God, the Scolari Brothers. Friends of the chair.
Yeah.
I gave him the chair.
And
They're all awesome looking, by the way, the Scolari brothers. I love
so
those.
cool looking.
Great design.
And for,
Yeah.
for the record, between the two movies, this is one of my like top favorite scenes in the franchise because I love the whole courtroom thing because it's super funny, and then it ends with that awesome like we gotta bust the ghosts.
Yeah, and yeah, at first they're not going to do anything, and they're like, Judge, you got to give us the okay, and then he's like, okay, do it, capture them, and so they get their equipment on, and
The Ghostbusters putting on their equipment is how I feel when I'm getting out of bed in the morning.
How
Because I'm
so?
old now and all my bones hurt.
And you're not sure if it's going to work?
No, I'm just like, no, it's just kind of like they're like, ugh, oh, God. That's how I feel in the morning.
Yeah.
I feel like that joke was going to kill. I'm just leaving this whole thing in because you know what? I can make fun of myself.
yeah, no, it's all right.
Before we move on, I don't know. You can fact check me. Just don't. Whatever. Take it as
Checking on that
gospel.
McCrory's thing, by the way.
Yeah. I think the Scolari brothers based on real people from Aykroyd's life. If I'm not mistaken, and I think my brother told me that years ago.
I think it was Bill Scolari.
I don't know if they worked at a garage or something. I don't know. Fact check me on that one.
Really? Oh, that's really cool.
Don't be surprised. It may not be true. So
Yeah.
It's
I'm just going
It
to take your
seems
word
like,
for it.
I mean, like Peter or Dan Aykroyd took a lot of like Ghostbusters, and it was like based on some real stuff.
Like John
in his family.
Belushi was supposed to be Slimer.
Yeah, and his family, I guess, had like a history of like paranormal.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, loves it. And so yeah, they begin to juice up their pro sound effects and are able to wrangle the brothers. Like they capture the ghosts. And
I love the do re
Egon and the smile.
and just
That smirk, yeah.
Yeah, like that smirk when he like
he's
looks over.
he's so pleased with himself, and Bill
Yeah.
Murray's just like,
Oh God! All right, Egon, whatever. Yeah, and so they, blast up the courtroom a little bit, kind of like what they did with the hotel. It's just like minutes, like
destroy
just
it.
destroying everything. And eventually, they are able to wrangle the two brothers.
So like when they blast up the place, there's like a little beat where like nothing's happening, and you just he got just like ha ha ha. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
They're all like laughing, and he's like ha ha ha.
It's
It
so
made me
good.
laugh last night.
Yeah. And they catch them, and after this, the boys are back in business. Through a montage, we see that they got their building back. They got new gear, new commercial. I love the commercial. It's so good.
And free balloon for the kids.
Yeah.
I love bad acting in a sense of it's not bad acting. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean by
Like
this?
when they're when they're pretending to do bad acting,
but
as
they're
actors.
so good at it.
Yeah.
Like Rick Moran, he's a legend.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
his bad acting in that commercial killed me.
Yeah.
She's like, we're going to have to move. And he's like, we're not moving. Yeah.
They're gonna.
Yeah. And it's just like the funny pause that he puts in between
Yes.
and stuff. It's so good.
I also like Janine's. Who are you going to call?
Yeah. Annie Potts is
Amazing,
legend.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had such a big crush on her,
I could see
Yeah.
why.
especially in part 2.
Yes.
Yeah, like I love what they did. They kind of made her, like you said earlier, they kind of made her look more like the real Ghostbusters cartoon character. And
I had a crush on Slimer for the record. So.
I mean, who didn't?
Who doesn't love to get slimed?
who
That was
doesn't-
attractive. He knew how to treat a person on the cartoon.
And
Moving on.
but
wait,
Janine is like
the best thing
phenomenal.
that came out of this movie was Ecto Cooler. Anybody?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Let's not
Ecto
get
Cooler.
into that because I can go on for 10 minutes about
Yeah.
Ecto Cooler.
And that was like
This
popular for
episode's
years,
brought to you by Ecto Cooler.
by High C.
How stoked were you when it was re-released in 2016? And I thought they were going to do it again for Afterlife, and they didn't. I was so disappointed. Do you feel like I really hope that they bring it back?
It's a delicious beverage.
Oh my
I enjoy it.
gosh.
And there's actually a local brewery. You're not going to believe
yeah,
this, but
lacto
Lacto Cooler. I'm going to bring this back to alcohol for myself. There's a local brewery that has Lacto Cooler, which tasted very, very close. It was a sour beer, but it tasted very close to the actual Ecto Cooler. It was phenomenal.
Interesting.
It was like, it was like $8 a can though, but yeah,
Oh,
it was awesome.
Now, wasn't that what ripped up your marriage?
That was
wasn't that
was
drinking
ripped
that
up
too much?
far before this. Yeah, way
So that
before.
that
this.
was just like not communicating. Yeah.
Well, the drinking came from that. Yes, exactly.
I'm
sorry,
No,
Vince.
that's cool. I
You need
I
to
used
talk
to love.
later, let me know.
I mean, like I said, like I had the Ghostbusters building and a bunch of like the different toys and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about that. I think last time we were talking about the different toys that we had, and yeah, I loved Ghostbusters as a kid though.
There was one of those toys when I was
I mean,
a kid.
I still do.
I think I was like 5
Yeah.
or something when this movie came out, and for Christmas my mom bought me one of them. Do you remember this? It was like this weird head that shot sparks out of its mouth, and you had to like stick like a little cord in it, and you pulled it, and it ran across the room.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that it was shooting fire out of its mouth terrified me, and it ran underneath my Christmas tree, and I was like, "Fucking stay there."
Just leave it there.
And then you just saw your Christmas tree
Go
just
up
go
in
up in
flames.
flames.
And that
Never get a
began
real tree.
me drawing my pictures in the coloring book.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Don't make fun of my trauma, guys.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So, yeah, no, business is good, man. They're going around, they're catching ghosts, and people are calling them. And meanwhile, during this montage, we also see that they're finding slime all over the city too. They're like taking sample after sample after sample.
I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I lived on the island at the time, and I literally thought that ooze was a problem in New York. Like,
No, that was just drugs.
well, that was part of it, but
Vince went outside. He's like, "Oh my god, ooze!"
could be. It could be. Yeah.
It's just like a collection of semen.
Yeah.
Green.
Why is there so much? Why is there so much of
So
it?
much out here. But yeah, so then we get to the next scene shows.
Vince, get away from that!
Don't touch it.
Young Vince!
Don't lick it.
No, if we play music for it, it will help dance things around.
This homeless guy stands up and starts dancing a little bit for us.
Get into
See,
it.
this
me a
guy's
dollar.
got it.
This guy knows.
This
into
guy's
it.
full of it over here.
Blasting all over the place.
So the next scene shows that Ray and Egon have been experimenting with the slime, and if you verbally assault the slime, it actually starts to get angry and starts to bubble up. And but if you play music, however, it responds positively. And so, especially if it's Jackie Wilson.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that they like specifically are like,
They
well,
called him-
it really takes to Jackie Wilson.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
I like when Peter's like, oh, it sounds just like Jackie.
Sounds just like Jackie. And so they start to play the music, and they put a little slime in the toaster. And I always loved that scene as a kid. I always
too.
thought it was the coolest. And again, like it's all practical
Just
effects.
it
And
obviously plugged in, but yeah,
Right.
it's awesome. You could see the little things, but it's just so playful and joyful. It's fantastic.
And Harold Ramis does this awesome catch of like the toast when it pops out. He's like, boom, and he catches it like perfect.
So there's part of the scene where the toaster pops and dips over, but then it comes back, and you can see like general reactions of the guys, like they're happy that happened.
Yeah.
Just like for the scene, how it like pops up and it turns over, but it doesn't fall. It just goes back to where it is, and you could see that they're excited about it.
Yeah, oh, it's so cool. And then I love that that gag too with Peter. He's like, "Oh, we could sell this baby."
Yes.
And then he puts his fingers in, and he's like, "Ah!" He's like, "Gotcha!" Yeah, it's so good.
I also like the line where he's talking about like we're nice to it, we talk to it, we do all these things, and Bankman goes, "You don't sleep with it, do you?" And then Ray kind of looks up, and you're like, "Oh, Ray sleeps with it," but then he looks at Egon, and then Egon just looks away in shame, like, "Yeah, I sleep with it. Yeah, I've been sleeping with it."
I was 6 when I saw this movie, and I remember when that scene came on, and they admitted that Egon admitted that he sleeps with it. I thought, wow. At that time, I didn't know what that meant. You think sleeping? I'm 6 years old. I'm like, okay, so
He just sleeps with it in the bed.
they're tucking it in. They're giving it a bedtime story.
Yeah, pajamas,
all the, you know what I mean?
warm glass of milk.
But you get older and you're corrupted, and you're like, oh wait,
wait a
he's
minute.
banging the slime. That's disgusting.
Did you guys see the deleted scene?
Oh God, jeez.
No, it's okay because Egon took the slime out for dinner first.
Okay,
Yeah. He
so that was
whining and
acceptable.
dining him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not weird.
No, it's not.
Oh,
A proper
Weirder
date.
couples.
I've seen weirder dates.
Yeah. Just saying.
Do they like he puts it in like Ziploc bags to kind of make it like in the form of a person?
Yeah.
Wait,
Coat
Yeah,
over
put a
it.
little
taped
jacket
together.
on it.
you have him filling up a sex doll with ooze. Okay.
It's just like, it's like, what are you having? It's like, oh, I'll have the steak. Excellent choice. And what about you? Excellent choice.
May I suggest the Pinot with that?
I'm telling you guys, that's why that scene, they should put it right back in the goddamn movie.
Should go back in.
Moving on.
So Peter goes to visit Dana at the museum and is introduced to Janish and or Jonish. Am I saying his name?
Janish?
Janish. Okay. So he's Janish, and
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, and also gets to see the Vigo painting, and he's not really like impressed by it or the history. He's like, yeah, whatever, right? And, like,
He misses his kitten.
yeah, and yeah. So then we go over to Dana's, and Dana is preparing her baby for her bath.
Oh, wait, is that when the Ghostbusters go to the actual museum?
Yeah, and
Oh no! This is just Peter by himself.
Sorry. So,
Yeah.
okay, there's a really funny moment. I don't know how I didn't notice it or find it as funny as I did last night. When Janish goes over to Peter, they like shake hands, and it's like real like awkward and limp, and then Peter just like wipes his hand on his sweater.
Yeah.
It's such a weird and subtle exchange.
It's so good. And Bill Murray is just like
A
such
legend.
a legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything you've heard about Bill Murray is true.
My favorite stories about Bill Murray is that he'll walk up to people like at a bar, he'll cover their eyes, and then he'll take his hands off and he'll go, "No one will ever believe you," which is just great.
Classic
That
Murray.
is-
And then, but he has like a little quarter, or there's this company called the Chive, which like they're obsessed with Bill Murray, and he has like little gold coins with Bill Murray's face, and he gives it to people. But just imagine that you're standing at a bar or at a restaurant, and someone covers your eyes, you turn around, it's Bill Murray, and they go, "No one will ever believe you."
Yeah.
That's so great. That's so Bill Murray.
You should do that to somebody here, but make them think it's Bill Murray,
No,
and
the
then they
thing
turn
that-
around and you're just...
No, the thing that I've been
No,
doing.
just don't even pretend you're Bill Murray. Just say no one's gonna believe you. just do that.
Or they turn around, they're like, "Oh my God, it's young Vince!
Yeah.
It's Freakquels, young Vince!"
No, I
Young
like to
Vince.
if I'm like in line at an ATM and like the person in front of me is taking too long. My new thing is like I'll just go up and softly kiss them on the nape of the neck. It helps them move things along. Yeah,
I'm aware.
it's not as
Vince.
subtle
I'm
as that
aware.
one.
I just shoved them
And
out
it's
of the
not
way.
just when people are at the ATM.
I'm next. So Dana is at her apartment and she's preparing her baby for a bath, Oscar, and we see the slime starts to fill up the bathtub, creating the blob basically.
Yeah.
And it goes to like attack them. So she flees and takes shelter at Peter's apartment.
She takes baby Rory, baby Oscar. I mean,
Baby Oscar, yeah.
She took me to Peter's.
Yeah. So Egon and Ray put together a theory that the slime and the painting, there's like some correlation between the two. And the next day, the Ghostbusters show up at the museum to inspect the Vigo painting. And Peter tries to elicit like this reaction from the painting. And as he
does his photo shoot?
does his photo shoot,
Destroy me. Destroy me.
yeah, Ray is like taking a closer look, and we see that like Ray briefly becomes like enamored, almost like bewitched,
Tranced, I would say.
yeah, like in a trance, and by Vigo's eyes, and you see even his eyes kind of start to like change color and
You
stuff.
see like the bags underneath his eyes like come a little more textured, I would say,
Yeah.
and it looks like something is changing. You can't really tell what it is, but it's so subtle that like something's going on. I don't know what it is, but something's happening.
What I thought was interesting was that look on Ray's face was the exact same look you had on your face when you went to see the Errors tour.
yeah,
When you were
I
staring at
enjoyed.
Taylor
No,
Swift.
no, that's not fair. I
You're like-
enjoyed the Eras tour.
I know, I'm
oh,
saying.
oh no, that look.
That
That
I was. Oh, you're correct. I was in a trance.
Yeah.
I was just
That's what I was
mesmerized.
saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's young Vince to a T. Moving on.
yeah. So
Big TS fan.
Winston's like, "Hey Ray, you okay?" And Ray kind of like shakes it off. He's like, "Yeah,
Shake it
yeah."
off.
Yes. So
I want to let you know this is the last time I want to be here.
that I'm ever on the show.
You're not the first person to say that to us.
Did you get to Bill Murray's line of where he's done with the photo shoot and he goes, "I've worked with better, but not,
Not
many."
many. That's a great
But
line.
not me.
Kills. He just kills.
Kills it. And so at Peter's, Dana and Peter begin to like rekindle the flame a little, and she actually agrees to go on a date with Peter. And so back at the
Why wouldn't she?
I like how
Right,
she's
like-
like, I have all new cheap moves.
yeah, I have all new cheap moves.
I love that line.
And the way he bounces on his bed, I did that 100 times as a kid. I
Yeah.
would like jump on my bed and like
Try
fly
and
around
flip.
like a little
Like a fish.
fish out of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as this is going on at the Ghostbusters headquarters, Janine and Lewis are hitting it off a little, and they kind of make a date too. She's like, "Well, I'm babysitting tonight, but you can come over." And Lewis is like, "Oh yeah, sure," like, and I actually like those two
Me too.
together. It's kind of crazy.
Power couple.
Yeah, I know. It sucks that we never got like a Ghostbusters 3 like prime team, like where they were all together and like
yeah.
that around that same age and stuff. just to see like even what happened with like Lewis and her, you know.
You wanted that? You wanted that story?
Yeah, I wanted that story. Okay. No. Actually, no. I just would love. I wish we got a 3, but I know there was.
No,
like,
they're
problems.
both really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they're like. I guess like Bill Murray didn't want to do anymore. Right? Is that what it was? Even the second one, he was like, "Oh, I didn't really want to do."
I was reading about it last night. It was the negative reception of this movie that made him not want to do another one.
Oh,
all they had to do was wait 20 years for us to fall in love with it all over again.
I don't. Well, I think like back then, I don't think I can't imagine he thought that like 20, 30 years later that people were going to be so in love with these movies the way that they were.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure at the time he's probably like, I don't want to do another one.
Again,
I'm going to go work with Wes Anderson.
This cast is massive. Like, how do you make that budget?
Yeah. True.
Apparently, the game that came out in 2009, I think, that's considered the third film by many.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you played it?
No, I haven't.
It's good. It's good stuff.
And that was what, like PlayStation 3 or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
Atari or ColecoVision. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Neo Geo.
Activision.
Probably that one. I think Activision.
Atari, I believe.
It was Atari. Yeah. They. Yeah, everybody came back. All the voice actors. Well, not the voice actors. The actors. You know.
Yeah.
Ramus came back. Yeah, everybody.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool, and I can go on YouTube and like watch. It's like it is absolutely like the third film. It's cool.
That's really cool. I didn't even know.
Look into it.
Yeah.
You're not going to.
I'm going to.
No, you're not.
No, trust me, these boys might actually look into it.
Seriously, if it'll stop me from just thinking about stuff, like if it'll take my mind off the nightmare that is my life, I'll play it.
I promise.
Yeah.
If it stops me from screaming, I'll play it.
I watched Steven Soderbergh's like cut of Raiders of the Lost Ark on his website. He provided like his own cut, and so he basically has the whole film is in like black and white and takes out a lot of the dialogue and just puts in like the score by Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. And I literally sat there the 2 hours to watch that. So trust me, I'll probably watch the Ghostbusters game. And it was awesome though. It was really cool. Just to show, he did it to show like people how great of a director Steven Spielberg is, and like how you could cut it certain ways and it still works. But anyways, in the lab, Ray and Egon have a close to death run-in with a fire started by Vigo's spirit or
evil.
And
I have a question. Sorry, not to interrupt. No, actually, I'm not sorry about that again.
Don't ever be.
I know. Did you think that when they're saying Thai, too spicy, Chinese, pizza, are they talking about food?
Yeah.
Are they talking about his? I for the longest time thought they were talking about his background, like Vigo's background, like trying to like discern like what he is.
What his lineage is?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
okay.
He's pasta American.
But when I rewatched it recently, I'm like, oh, pizza. That's
yeah.
You can't be
about
pizza.
Food. Yeah.
They're talking about
So
food.
stupid. I have moments where I'm like, dude.
Pizza's kind of a nationality. Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stereotype, isn't it?
Remember when you used to huff glue a lot?
It was around that time.
I'm just kidding.
I think it was me climbing poles and trying to
Steel cable.
Steel cable. Stupid.
Yeah.
I'm such an idiot.
No, you're the best.
Thank you. Continue.
But yeah, so they got rescued by Winston, and but they discover in one of the photos that there is the river of slime that Ray discovered beneath the surface. So they track down Peter and Dana, and they try to convince Peter to go with them. And I love that whole exchange. He's like,
Hey, do you want?
"Hey Dana, do you want to go down to the sewers?"
The surge of cockroach breeding.
Yeah. It's a cockroach breeding surge and also a river of slime.
Taxi.
Yeah.
Women,
right, guys? Yeah. So I love that whole scene.
Yeah,
That
it's amazing.
is outstanding. But they head down to this subway system to get some readings about the slime, and that's when they are walking along, and they're joking with Winston a little bit and like making him like a little paranoid. And that's when they come
as
across
promised,
some
by the
terrifying
way,
stuff.
but as promised, whenever there's mention or they show a good mouse performance,
We're
going to
call it out. Yeah. We're the podcast.
And the rats were scratching in this movie.
Yeah, they were awesome. Yeah.
So
Scratch with the door.
I just want you to let you know there's a lot of hardworking mice out there in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And you guys should really be paying more attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same mice and rats were in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade. They got a lot of that.
They did.
Yeah, a lot of that
Those
crew.
mice.
Didn't the one also become Remy from Ratatouille?
That
It did. It went on.
He had to go to culinary arts school.
He did.
Yeah.
Dude,
learn
he
that.
studied really hard to be in that movie.
I couldn't do it. I could not do it.
Not as a mouse.
No.
Not as a human being.
No. That's why
I
these.
call this stuff out when I see it.
That's why they're skilled actors.
Yeah.
let's
Hey,
move on.
did you know his double was eaten in Michael Myers? Halloween Resurrection.
I like that you're going to call it Michael Myers. I wish you went ahead and was said, and Michael Myers ate.
Michael Myers 8.
Michael Myers ate the mouse. Here we go.
Hey.
Here we go. Back on track.
So as they're walking along the tunnels, they come across a bunch of heads on stakes. It's actually a really terrifying scene. Like when they're like, "Wah," and they're like looking around and like you see all these like decapitated heads.
I love those cutaways of screaming and
Yeah. Outstanding stuff. And so then they're like freaked out and they keep walking, and that's when they hear the subway train. And another hilarious scene. Winston again was like one of my favorites as a kid. And so that we see the train like go through him, and he's just like screaming the whole time, and then like he's just like shaking and kind of like his hair's like sticking up. And Harold's
How terrifying was that voice?
Yes. Oh, that was so good.
It's very bassy.
Yeah. And I love when Harold, Egon, he's like, "Hey, did you catch the number of that train?"
Sorry, I missed it.
And like the delivery by Ernie Hudson is just outstanding.
Do you
work
think they
on
used
this.
a real ghost train for that
Yeah.
scene?
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
That performance is like authentic.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the behind the scenes when they're reading from the Necronomicon?
Someone had to raise those spirits, man.
They show like Ivan Reitman. He's like, I didn't want to use fake ghosts in this movie. I wanted to use real tormented souls. Force them to be in my shitty Hollywood blockbuster.
And then the stroller wasn't just rolling on its own. It was the evil spirit pushing it along.
A child killer to give it suspense.
So
We didn't know what that ghost was going to do. He wasn't unionized.
he wasn't unionized. So we see that poor Winston, he gets pulled into the river of slime, and Egon and Ray jump in after him. And on Peter's date, things are looking good with him and Dana. They actually kind of share a kiss. And same with like Lewis and Janine's date is also getting pretty good.
Heavy.
Yeah. And so the guys all emerge from the sewer. And they come out right by the museum. And they all start fighting before Egon is like, whoa, 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 take off your clothes.
It's the slime.
It's the slime. Yeah, because the slime is what's making them aggressive and affecting their mood. And so the guys show up at the restaurant where Peter and Dana...
A very fancy, upscale New York Center City restaurant.
And they're like in their like,
Just-
onesie
yeah.
pajamas.
The old classy, what is it, a coal miner? Coal miner sleeps in that, right?
Right, yeah. And so the guys show up at the restaurant where Dana and Peter are. And that's when the police are called on them. And they get escorted. And this is when you cue Bobby Brown's song and cameo, which is so good. I love that song. What are your thoughts on the song? Super fan.
It's amazing. I still listen to it. Like I
Yeah.
was doing the dishes tonight, and I asked Siri to put it on for me, and it obeyed.
Yeah.
No,
she does.
That song, no, it's still amazing.
Yeah.
And Bobby Brown still plays that song live. Go to the YouTubes, and if you put in Bobby Brown live on her own, it's he goes really hard on it.
One of my favorite Bobby Brown performances was on Arsenio Hall, and he dropped his cocaine. And he dropped his baggie of cocaine.
Yeah.
And just
Yes.
ever so subtly picks it up and just continues on with the performances.
Yeah.
I saw that clip again and I was like, oh, wow, this guy's talk about legends. This guy, yeah.
Yeah, a few months ago, I'm sorry, real quick, I was pumping gas at Sheetz, and I'm pumping the gas, and I'm just kind of staring off, at the sky. It was a lovely day, and then over the loudspeaker, they were playing On Our Own, and I'm like, dude, that song is for a movie about dudes busting ghosts and demons and slime and not demons, but you know what I mean. And the fact that that's still playing
In 2023 and it's a banger.
Oh,
yeah. It's
The kids would say it slaps, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it slaps.
I like when the gas station attendant came out and he dropped his cocaine and then picked it back up.
But
Did it off your car.
And he was just like, Bobby Brown. He points. Bobby Brown.
yeah, but are songs even made anymore? Like specifically for a movie that like call out the name of the title of the movie in the song? Like they don't do that anymore. I think Men in Black, Will Smith, but like Bobby Brown, like amazing, man.
Yeah.
And the dude is a lyrical genius, like rhyming evil with wait, what was it? Hold on.
Not that
No.
much of a genius.
Evil and legal, like trying to battle my boys. That ain't legal. Dude. That's genius.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. And I love his cameo too.
Yeah.
He's like, I love you guys. And he's like, can I get one of those?
No.
Like Proton
Proton
packs?
Pack is not a toy.
Yeah. But no, I always love that song. I still will bust it out here and there.
That
just
whole
to listen
soundtrack.
to.
That whole soundtrack. And it's argued that the first movie is the better movie. Okay, sure, I can admit that, but not the soundtrack. That soundtrack, it destroys Ghostbusters 1. I'm sorry. Not the score, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Dude, go down that list. So many bangers on there, man.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it will make you like lift up a mountain. You know what I mean? Seriously, go to the gym and just start like tearing weights off the rack.
Hell yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I love that. I totally
Pumps
agree.
me up, man. No, it really
Because
does.
even the
explains-
montage before
Yeah.
that song slaps too. Like the Ghostbusters when they're coming back. And they play that song, and that's another great song. That's just like,
Dude, Run DMC, New Edition, Oingo Boingo. Come on.
I love
It's great.
Oingo Boingo.
All right, sorry, you have to talk
Your
about
reaction to that music, by the way, kind of explains why you're not allowed back in Planet Fitness.
Well, it's actually because I don't do any working out there.
He just
He goes in there just for that.
I just go there for the music, man.
I could see him sitting in the car with the headphones on and just pumping himself up and then just going into the gym, not lifting anything, just destroying the gym. That's, okay, good.
Who's that weird guy again?
Oh, shit. Lock the doors.
Oh, he got a black card.
That means you can do anything. Oh, yeah. So the mayor meets with the Ghostbusters, and they try to warn him about the problem and stuff, and how it's about to pretty much go down. He doesn't listen. He leaves. And Nedemeyer, he gets them put into a psychiatric ward and locks them away and hopes to lock them away for good. But meanwhile, at the museum, we see Janusz talking to Vigo, who tells him to get the child before the new year. And so at Dana's, Louis and Janine are hanging out with Dana. She's like, you guys could go. And they're like, no, we're going to hang out and watch this movie with you. And but meanwhile, Oscar...
She should have just said, I want you to leave.
Yeah.
That would have been the adult thing.
She's
to do.
so nice.
Yeah, but-
She's too nice. And so Oscar, he's walking on the ledge, and we see like this ghost version of Janusz
Mary Poppins-ish?
show up. Yeah. Always
very
freaked
scary.
me out as a kid.
Scared me just having to
Yeah.
do it in the movie, which was
It's like one of the scariest things in Ghostbusters ever.
What was the set like? Were you actually up that high,
yeah,
or was it?
terrifying?
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and you didn't even have a stunt double,
No,
right?
as a young baby, they just stuck me up on a building ledge.
Were you played? Or was Oscar played by twins? Did you?
I don't
Did
have
you
a
have
twin.
a twin?
No.
You had one.
You
right?
did.
Okay, so first off, he fell off the building. We're trying to play down the fact that I ever had a brother. Move on.
Okay.
What if they actually put that baby on the ledge, but they had nets on them?
Yeah.
All right, take one and hope for the best.
Hanging out
Use
the
a
window?
rattler. The kid's just like walking. The mom's like, please don't. It's my
it.
only son.
The talent agent called and said you can't have any more babies.
It's It's in the contract.
It's in the contract. So at the ward, a doctor is examining the guys.
Bill
and
Murray's brother. Sorry.
Yeah, Doyle.
Yeah.
Right, Brian Doyle or something.
Oh, Doyle rules.
Doyle rules. And they're all like trying to talk to the guy, and I love Bill Murray at that point. He's like, "Trust me, these guys are crazy." I love that line.
He's given up on them too.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't know, these guys are crazy." So Dana goes to the museum to find Janusz, and after she enters, slime begins to kind of devour the entire building. And inside, she finds Oscar on this altar, and she tries to take him, but is like thrown across the room and locked into like this cage that's in the museum or something.
Yeah.
And so
It was there for plot.
yeah. Set design, great job.
Yeah.
On the museum.
The candles and everything.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. And again, Janusz, just his hands, the way he talks, he just makes everything. And he's so pleasant about it.
Yeah.
Like he's so pleasant about, I'm taking your baby and we're going to sacrifice him.
He's gonna be the vessel to our Lord.
Yeah.
And you get to be the mommy,
Yeah.
and I'll be the daddy.
Yeah.
You know. And but in a weird New York City montage, we show that like the entire city, the slime is like out of control and everything is going amok, and we get like cool cameos from Ben Stein and Chief
Marin.
Yeah. And I love that they
great line.
do
The
the
Titanic
thing.
just arrived.
Yeah. What? And then it goes to the dock workers and it's Cheech and they're like looking up.
Too soon.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Titanic?
Yeah, too soon.
Yeah, too soon.
I like when the slime is dropping down on the movie theater. When people are running out. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's a great Bob reference.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. So the mayor, he actually fires Niedermeyer because he's like, "Where's the Ghostbusters? Get me the Ghostbusters." He's like, "I locked them away because of."
I did what you asked me to do.
Yeah.
And now you're firing me.
Yeah, and he's like, "You're fired. Get out of here. Get rid of this guy." And so he gets pulled away, and he's
Go
like,
work for
"Find-
Rob Lowe.
Yeah, find me the Ghostbusters.
I love that scene of the slime just forming.
Oh,
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
really
so
haunting.
cool.
And yeah, exactly. I love
Super
it.
cool.
Yeah. And so we cue Bobby Brown's song again, Take Control. And this is
On our own.
on our own, yeah. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, so the Ghostbusters, they arrive on the scene at the museum. And so the guys, they try to shoot their packs at the slime, and the covered building, the building's like pretty much covered with slime at this point. And to their surprise, their proton packs, it doesn't do anything. And so they brainstorm on how to raise hope and have good tidings. And one by one, it hits them that Lady Liberty is a symbol to unite everyone. I actually love that whole scene, how that plays out. I love that, like, they're trying to brainstorm of, like, how do we bring people together? How do we, like, have, like, good energy, right? Like, what is something that people could look up to? And one by one, they're all, like, they see, like, the Statue of Liberty on the license plate, and then Winston is like, I got what you're saying. But that whole moment is one of the best Ghostbuster moments.
And I'd give a little credit to whoever did the score on that, the way that they build to the point where they're all realizing it.
Yeah.
And
It's in my
just
head for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool.
That
the way they
score
do
is
that.
like, I
Yeah.
think about it like twice a week.
Especially the beginning of the movie. I love that opening scene, the score in the opening scene. It's so delightful.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
Randy Endelman.
Thank you. There it is.
Yeah.
Nerd.
No, I agree. I love that score.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but that moment in particular is definitely one of my favorite Ghostbuster moments
Yeah.
ever. So the guys, they install speakers into the Statue of Liberty, and they start frosting the inside with pink slime,
Beautiful.
and they play some Jackie Wilson, causing the Statue of Liberty to come to life, and they can control it with like this Nintendo controller.
Do you think that's where the Deep Ocean guys got it? The idea to use a controller
Probably.
for the submarine
Yeah.
that capsized
That's true.
on
Oh,
the
no.
Titanic? Maybe they
Oh
saw
my
that.
God.
No,
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Do you think that really is?
I hope so.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Oh
calling
no, no, I
James
hope
Cameron.
not.
I hope not. I don't know.
I'm calling James Cameron.
So they start to make their way through the city and they're briefly stopped by protesters who glue themselves to Vigo. No, I'm just kidding.
I like that they have a police escort for the Statue of Liberty,
Yeah.
as if you wouldn't get the fuck out of the way if
Right.
you saw a giant. But anyway,
Yeah. So they get this police escort to the museum, and meanwhile, Lewis is suiting up in his own Ghostbusters uniform. Well, he's actually wearing, is it Egon's? I forget.
he has his own name tag on. I think it's his. Doesn't
No,
he have?
it's somebody else.
I think it's
Yeah.
Egon Spengler's, right?
I think it's Spangler.
I think
Yeah.
no, you're right. It says
Spangler
Spangler.
is ringing a bell, and
It
if
definitely
I'm
says
wrong,
Spangler.
I'll edit this.
Yeah. So they race over to the museum.
That's a cute moment when she zips him up.
Yeah.
I thought that was
yeah.
adorable, and yeah.
And I love that he gets on the bus and then Slimer's like
Slimer's
driving
there.
the bus.
I didn't know you had your license.
And so we see Lady Liberty smashes a hole into the top of the museum, and the guys lower themselves down, and immediately they slime Yunish with a positive goop, and but then they have their showdown with Vigo, and Vigo hits them pretty hard, incapacitating them a little bit, and when all hope seems lost, New York City starts singing.
Old Lang Syne.
Yeah, and Lewis arrives to shoot the outside, and that's another great Ghostbusters moment where it's kind of like it always reminds me of Spider-Man. I always have to bring up Spider-Man.
Yeah, we do.
But when they're like, "Yo, you mess with him, you mess with us,"
You
and
mess
they,
with all of us.
yeah, and they start throwing stuff at Green Goblin. So inside, the guys they get free from the clutches of Vigo, and Ray briefly kind of gets possessed, which is kind of weird. I don't know why. Like it just happens so fast. It's like, "Urgh," and
Well,
then-
he's running out of time.
Shall rule the earth.
yeah. And so then they goop him up with the positivity slime, and they start blasting the painting, destroying Vigo. And the movie ends on a high note. They destroyed a national monument, classic art, a part of the Met, and Vigo.
A couple police cars and Vigo.
So, and a couple of police cars. Yeah, no, I love this movie, and that's how the movie ends. They see like
The picture of
painting-
them, yeah.
yeah, painted on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's outstanding. I love it.
I agree. I think I was saying this in the car. I'll just say this real quick. I think it was around the time the DVD came out in like the early 2000s when suddenly there was this like weird negative attitude towards Part 2, and I've always disagreed with it. I think Ghostbusters 2 is near and dear to my heart, and I avidly defend it.
Absolutely solid. One of a childhood memory, a core memory for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was all good. From just memories of my dad, and the movie itself was fantastic. Bill Murray's a legend. Yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me. Yeah, Vince, I agree with you. Definitely a core memory. And I think that nostalgia absolutely helps fuel and elevate the film, especially for me, because it was a theater experience. And it was a very memorable summer for me. So, yeah, I agree with you 125%.
This is however many 30, 40 years later. I bet in 20 years it's going to still be friggin' awesome, and we're going to we're going to
New
still love
audiences
this.
are going to rediscover it and be like, why all the hate?
Yeah.
But emojis, fellas.
Yes.
I'll go first because this
Yeah.
was simple for me. I was literally looking through it today, and I came up with 3 thumbs up. That was it, because this movie, front to end, there's nothing more to say. Like, this is something I'm going to make my kids watch this. I'm going to continue to watch it. I'm going to watch it in 20 years. I love this movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have 2 ghost emojis. The prohibit emoji, cityscape, babyface, but not the sultry R&B singer, but an actual baby. I found the Aquarius sign or emoji that looks like river slime, so I used it.
Nice.
Anger face, bathtub, siren, party hat, emoji face, Statue of Liberty, and an ear of corn.
I love it.
I like corn, and I love this movie.
Oh,
Almost as much as you love corn.
I got it. You didn't have to explain it.
I got
it.
How about you, each?
I have 4 ghost emojis and a little
4?
and a little painter's
Nice.
A painter's
Yeah.
palette?
painter's palette.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't have 4 ghosts. I had 2. I had a heart. I had a Statue of Liberty. I had a police car. And that's it. Fuck you.
Now, before we go, I do want to bring up, like I said in the beginning, we're gonna read some emails really quick, and we appreciate hearing from you guys. And if you have any suggestions of movies you want to hear us do, or even cool questions, whatever,
Feedback, comments.
Yeah.
Keep the negative comments.
email us
those up.
at freakwellpodcast@gmail.com. But Rory, take it away. Let's hear some of these emails.
Our first email comes from someone named Robin. It says, "Hey, have you seen EJ? I haven't seen him in a couple weeks. He owes me money. Thanks. Lots of love, Robin."
I have seen him. I see him every day, and he's
doing great.
he's doing all right. He used that money on hard drugs.
And I sold him those hard drugs. So, Robin, don't come looking for him.
Yeah.
There's not much left to him after this point.
The shell of a man.
He's a shell of his former self.
Yep.
Still beautiful, but hard to look at.
All that aspirin has done its job.
And Flintstone's chewable vitamins.
Yes.
But next one we have it says, "Hey muchachos, got another one question for you. What actor or director would you most not like to meet, and why? Also, John found the cameras you guys hid in his shower. Not cool, guys. Not cool. L."
We told her about the cameras. We asked her to help hide them.
Well,
Like,
we're
what?
filthy perverts,
Yeah.
if that helps answer any questions.
Elle,
Yeah.
come on, Elle. You're
And the
better
fact
than
that he found them and you're trying to play it off like you weren't involved.
Yeah, you weren't involved? Okay.
Not cool.
All right.
And I think as far
Not
as,
cool, guys.
I think as far as actors you don't want to meet, I think collectively we can all just say Gary Busey.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's pretty safe to say.
Because you're probably not coming back from that.
No.
Any directors or what is it? Actors or
Directors?
directors? I don't know. Yeah, actors. I'm gonna stick with Gary Busey. I think that's a good call.
I could go the rest of my life with never meeting Steven Seagal. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I
yeah.
wouldn't mind not meeting him either.
Yeah. That's a good question.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I would both want to and not want to meet Martin Scorsese, because if he was mean
Oh, I
to
could-
me, I think I would crawl under my blankets and just cry.
I
Yeah,
would
too much pressure.
liquidate my house to watch that interaction of you having to talk to Martin
It would be like a
Scorsese.
shrieking little girl.
Oh my god.
No,
Hey,
I'm just
do you
kidding. I actually
remember?
wanna-
Do you remember the time in the movie when you? That would
yeah.
be yeah.
I'd be like Chris Farley in that skit.
Yeah, I
How
wouldn't
about
want to
you?
meet Stanley Kubrick because
Yeah.
I feel like it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Like I would feel dumb just like being in the same room as him.
And you look like Shelley Duvall a little bit,
Yeah.
so we know how he was to her.
Yes.
How about you?
Jake Busey.
Hey, we met him together, remember? Wasn't that you?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, man, we talked about Star Wars.
Did
Who's
we?
wait? Who? Jake Busey?
Yeah, we were
Gary
talking to him
Busey.
about
He's in
Star
Starship
Wars.
Troopers.
He's in Starship Troopers, but we talked to him about
know,
Star Wars.
yeah.
That was awesome. Where did Jake Busey touch you?
Show us on the doll.
Here's our next question. Hey fellas, got a fun game for you. Google the movie that was #1 in the box office the day you were born. Let's see if the movie's tagline describes your life. Also, someone keeps breaking into my house, stabbing my Capri Suns, and then not drinking them. The full pouch will just be sitting on the counter. You wouldn't know anything about this, would you? L.
I don't know anything about
These
that.
are oddly specific.
I don't know anything about that.
So after the coloring book thing,
Yeah.
and I did what I did, I was known as the Capri Sun Killer. This
That
is
makes
just a
sense.
hallmark.
Yeah.
It means you're in danger, L. Keep sending us questions until you can't.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this, that wasn't really a threat.
Yeah.
A veiled threat.
A veiled threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's a
don't know.
promise.
Does anyone know? We'll do the Google thing in just 1 second. We'll go
Yeah.
through one last question. Hey, gang. What are some of your comfort films? Films that aren't necessarily your favorites or even good films, but ones that you find that you can watch again and again without diminishing your enjoyment. Also, my greeting to this email was not colloquial. There we go.
Colloquial.
I know about the crimes, also from L. The film I could watch at any point, at any time, is That Thing You Do.
Yeah.
And that is a comfort film, and it's a great film. It's one of my favorite films, but I could watch that at any point. How about you, EJ?
I have like a couple that I definitely just have to watch every single year, and it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Awesome.
I love that movie. I could watch it any day, and just I love that movie. I would say Once Bitten is like a
Jim
weird
Carrey.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
love that movie, and I watch that all the time. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Watch that pretty much all the time too. And then I would say like, a lot of different horror movies I revisit over the year, but those are like those weird kind of comedy, maybe like not in my top 10. Well, Bill and Ted's probably in my top 10, but like I just love watching those movies. Like I could watch it anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'll go Shawshank Redemption.
It's a comfort food.
A comfort. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just line after line that I can just.
I agree with you. It's a great movie.
It's one of those movies where,
You got busy living.
yeah, or you get busy dying. Like when I go to sleep at night, I put a movie on my phone and I put it under my pillow and I just listen to it. And that's one of those movies that like just by hearing it, I could visualize everything that's happening. That and I would say like Anchorman. But my go-to, my comfort thing is, you guys know this about me, it's not a movie. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All the time. Every day.
That's why I was
all day, every
excited
day.
to mention Marine Ponderosa in this
God.
episode.
You know me.
How about you, Matt?
I zoned out. What's the question?
What's a comfort movie for you? Something you can watch over and over and over again.
Heavyweights.
Oh my God.
We watched on a movie theater together once.
Get on the scale.
was awesome.
Get off the scale.
So
It's been extended indefinitely.
What a quotable movie. I completely forgot about that. That's going to get a rewatch.
Yeah, man, that's a great
Thank you,
one.
Matt. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not a sequel to a movie, but if you end up ever doing that on the podcast, please have me.
Oh yeah.
I know,
absolutely.
and let's clear this up for people. The movie doesn't have to be a sequel for us to do it.
Well,
It's just
right.
funny.
Your podcast is called Freakquels.
That don't mean shit.
Well, that means
To me-
like prequels, sequels,
But-
requels.
We also like to write with quill pens.
Yeah.
That's actually more what it has to do with.
I'm
our
partitioning
choice
for a
of pens.
movie next year that I think they agreed to. I don't know if you want me to say it or not. You can edit this out. I really want to do The Shining. I've never seen The Shining, and they're saying
Yeah.
that that's technically horror, so that kind of fits in. So yeah,
Technically.
Well, and
Yeah.
we don't even have to technically stay to horror, but we could do
Yeah.
like I love sci-fi films.
We're
so.
frauds.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah, we're frauds. We're fakes with nothing.
Our brand
We're full
is
pods.
a fraud.
pod.
It's fraudulent.
But and the other thing is, who's going to yell at us?
yeah. Well, you gonna come at us, you scumbag fans listening right now?
We do whatever.
Stop berating the listeners.
I will not. I don't like that you guys listen to
You
our
got
show.
you got another comfort movie?
Yes, the Ernest movies. Ernest Goes to Camp.
Oh my
God.
god.
Ernest Goes to
Ernest
Camp.
Scared Stupid is like legit one of my favorite
Dude, Ernest
movies.
Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
year.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I loved Ernest, especially Scared Stupid. Loved it. And as a kid, I would watch that all the time. All the time.
I'm also Fright Night. I'll throw in there. That's one of my comfort movies.
I feel like Scream
Scream.
is definitely, and Shawshank I religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Saving Private Ryan. If that's on the TV, I'll watch that. There's something comforting about that.
Goodfellas. That's another
Goodfellas.
one.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You still didn't get to A Bronx Tale. That's definitely one for me.
Yeah.
But
All right. Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Really quick, anything to plug?
Just Matt Renaldi's music, Ravenview Productions.
Fourth Cut Reviews.
Fourth Cut Reviews.
Variant Season.
Adam Farley's music.
Which I just listened to the song in the car before and it was awesome. So look it up on Spotify.
If you go on Facebook, please follow Jon Snow, friend of the show. His bands, you have Issues, a Korn tribute band, Realign, a Godsmack tribute band, and Red Hat Society.
You nailed them.
I think
Yeah,
a Slipknot
Press.
one just went up too.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's
Yeah.
just crushing it.
His girlfriend's kind of cool too, right? Girlfriend or wife? I don't know.
Wife,
Wife?
awesome.
Yeah.
She's the coolest.
She's really cool, except she's not all that cool about her Capri Suns,
Yeah.
apparently.
Get over it. It's just a juice in a bag.
Yeah, there's not
Come
much
on.
you can do about that. But you got anything to plug?
Absolutely nothing. I am still a piece of crap. No, I have nothing. And I'm not going to plug other people's work. No, I can't think.
I don't support people.
Other people, no.
What a beautiful note to end on.
Yeah. No, so with that being said, Thank you for listening to
Freakquels and Happy New Year's, motherfuckers.
It's Life.